Man, I do like me some Beast Wars, and not for nothing, but Legacy has really, and I guess a little bit of the Prime Wars trilogy, has really given us some splendid updates. Perhaps one of the wackiest of them all is this guy. It is the Transformers Legacy United Tigerhawk. Never had the original, thought he was a bit of a weird character, hodgepodge mishmash, literally, in Beast Wars. And then when this was announced and first shown, I didn't know what I thought about it, didn't know if I wanted it, didn't know how I felt about it. Well, now we're going to embark on the interesting story of Legacy United Tigerhawk. He will be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. And while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And like I said, I wasn't sure I wanted this. So way back in January of 2024, I saw this guy once at a GameStop, and I passed him over. I was like, I don't know, man, about that. I'm not sure. And about an hour later, I thought to myself, you know what? It does look neat, though. And I went back, and he was gone. Fast forward a little while, a couple of weeks, and I heard a report at a local comic store of them having a grand total of 6. Went there the following day, figuring, man, 6 won't sell that fast. And went there the following day, actually, for a haircut. Not to the comic store, to a spot close to the comic store. And they were all gone. And I was told they wouldn't be getting any more. I have not seen it at any of the other GameStops. I haven't seen it certainly at any Walmarts or anything like that. And then I get a picture sent to me by our good buddy Maximal10 saying, hey, there's one here. And I was like, hey, I think I'm going to come and get that. And I did. Still not knowing how I'd feel about it. Boy, oh boy, is this a bit of a wild ride for a wild bot. How about we head over to the table and take a closer look at him. Man, what a wild ride to get to Tigerhawk. Here's the thing, I wasn't sure I wanted this mold or this guy. I saw it once and I passed on it for about an hour. When I went back, he was gone. I was like, oof, I think he's gonna be hard to get. Then I heard of a local comic store that apparently got 6 in, but I never saw them, never heard about it until they were all sold. And then it was months and months and months because I saw and heard about those total of 7 in late January. As of this recording, it is now the end of June. And by the time you're seeing it, we're probably into July. That's half a year. I figured no way until Maximal10 sent me a picture and said, hey, here's one. And I was like, you know what? I think I do want it. I at least got to explore this thing. I don't know how this review is going to go. Time will tell. Here's the packaging. Here's Tigerhawk in his Tigerhawk mode. And what a glorious weirdo. And really, this is kind of the only official representation, I suppose, this guy and the original Tigerhawk. I think they're the only official representation we have of the Vok, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, again, over here you see the robot mode, which is bonkers. You see the face sculpt, which is bonkers. Everything about this is bonkers. Over here we have, you know, your typical artwork for United on the back. We have both alt modes and they both look equally insane. As you might have already guessed, there's a gigantic, insane set of instructions that comes with this guy. It is double-sided. And of course, here we have Tigatron and Airazor, who became Tigerhawk. Word is that there are pieces on this guy that is part of this mold and part of this mold. I've studied it, I've sized it up, I can't find it. I really can't see what's the same. Like, the side of the tiger heads look kind of similar. Maybe the lower jaw of the tiger heads are similar. I mean, maybe you took some of the molded detail of some of the wings and done it on the wings or something. I can't see it. To me, this looks like a completely new mold. But we've been told that it's, you know, that it incorporates parts of the other 2 molds. So make of that what you will, I suppose. Yes, My Tigatron has yellowed. Yes, I have painted numerous parts on him. Yes, I think that's unacceptable. This guy clocks in at a... I wanted to say respectable, but it's not really. At 285 grams, it's too small for later class. However, I also acknowledge the fact that there's an insane parts count here. I acknowledge the fact that there is a lot of molding that had to be done because this guy is so asymmetrical that it became very difficult to reuse mold pieces over and over, you know, and do like the mirror of them. You just couldn't with this guy in a lot of cases. Not all, but a lot of cases. Certainly the arms being a big one there, right? And I acknowledge the intense molded in detail, especially of the wings. Speaking of the wings, fresh out of package, you have to plug these two cannons in, and not for nothing, but they can fold up and down depending on how you want them. We also had to plug this blaster on over this forearm, and these batons, I guess we'll call them, they can also go on down here, or of course go in the hands. So that's totally up to you how that's done. Let's talk about his his coloration to give this guy that score first. I'm gonna say that his coloration is, man, about as accurate as you could possibly hope for. Like, working from the feet, starting at the feet and working our way up. Assuming that the bronzy is the correct color rather than like a silvery color, I'm going to assume the bronzy is the correct color. I mean, the clawed feet, the opening on the front of the leg there where we have this detail in here, the knees, the thighs, the purple on his pelvis here, the purple in the center with the maximal symbol, the white on both sides, the arms, or the legs out over his shoulders. His blasters behind his shoulders, the purple on the wings, the purple head, the green visor, the eyes behind, the green over here. I mean, compared to the original, this one is a slam dunk. I'm gonna say, it's so hard to tell when you're using CGI models. I mean, this is real close. Man, if it's not a 10, it's super duper close to a 10. Let's say, I don't know. You know what, I'm going to say 10. Honestly, I really do think if there are things here that aren't right, man, they're minimal. I'm going to say 10. I'm in a good mood, I'm going to say 10. Let's do the articulation for this guy, which is also kind of bonkers. So the head goes left, right, up, down. The wings here, they can go all the way back, forward. They can go up like this and come all the way forward and around. I mean, they do kind of everything you would expect and want them to do. Maybe one could say the hinge should go up more. I don't know. The blasters here, I already showed that they can go down. The arm here can go all the way around, out to the side. This lifts up, I mean, way out to the side. Bicep swivel, elbow over 90 degrees. Wrist rotation? I don't think we have a wrist rotation or fingers. That's a bit of a bummer. I think they could have included that. This arm over here, same thing, goes all the way around, out to the side, lifts that up, bicep swivel, all the way around again, and yeah, nothing at the wrist. Huh, go figure. I thought that there was. We have a waist. If you pick up the skirt a bit, you get a little bit more. It's not all the way around, but it's going to give you exactly, I think, what you need. Ratcheted leg forward. Take that back. Ratchet leg way back. I was concerned about the hips connecting down here, but they connect very solid. And when you bring the hips out, you're not relying on this ratchet. There's another hinge underneath here that I think was a smart idea to make sure that this stays pinned together. But they go all the way out to the side. We have a thigh swivel. We have a knee to at least 90 degrees, maybe a little bit better than 90 degrees. And I like that you can bring it down this far and you still have the molded detail. You bring it down all the way, you do kind of break it. But it goes down, the knee detail goes down in nice ways. And we have an ankle tilt. I mean, wrist rotation would be nice, no doubt. Oh, and he stands like a champion. And I guess, not for nothing, but heel, not really toe, but heel can kind of come forward to help with solidity a bit. Wrist rotation would be nice. Fingers would be nice. that's about it. I'm gonna say the look was a 10. I'm gonna say the articulation is a 9.5. I mean, it's only the wrists and the hands that could have been improved on, really. So 9.5. Now we do the transformation. This is the part that unnerves me a little bit because it is insane. Man, I hope I can show this right. I really, really do. But right now, at a 9.5 and a 10, the guy's getting a 9.75. This is a tremendous transformer and a tremendous iteration of this character. Let's do the transformation and then we can get out of here. Can you tell I'm a little bit nervous? Okay, let's get this going. So, we pick these up first and then we pick these up. I'm not gonna lie, I do wish there's a little slot under the armpit that goes down over a tab right there, and same on this side over this tab here. I do find that when I'm just manipulating the arms and the shoulders in robot mode that likes to come off. I'm not gonna lie, that is one little, I don't want to say bummer because it's not that big a deal, but it is a little bit of a nuisance. Let's open up the arm here, and we're going to fold in the wrist and close that arm up, and we'll do the same over here. We're going to open up the arm and fold in the wrist and close that up. Cool. Next, we're going to undo the back here. So I just unpegged the back, and we're going to just pick that out, and we're going to undo that and bring it down to the side, and we're going to undo this and bring it down to the side. There's a little tab here on each side that goes over a little slot hole here. We're going to take both of those down, and then we're going to bring these legs down and out. This is what I was talking about when I said, man, it's kind of bonkers, right? We're going to bring all of that forward. Cool. Now, I was forever trying to figure out, what do I do here? You got to split the two legs here now if you didn't do it before. And you got to do it now, get those out of the way, because this whole thing comes down and around and tabs in. There's a little, I guess, tab here that comes down to a little tab section there. I don't find it really locks in per se, more than guides in. Then we turn the head around, as per the instructions. I don't know if it matters to turn it around. And we put that in. And I guess not for nothing we can sort of get the back legs there sort of solidified. And this looks like a weird hodgepodge at this point. And this is where I was like, oh man, I don't know how this is going to go. Next, with this back and these arms up, we got to turn the whole body. Love this. Turn it this way. I know it's this way because the head needs to kind of match up with these, right? For when it goes back, right? And then this arm comes down, and this loves to pop off, which is exactly what I wanted to show you. It happens all the time when I'm doing the transformation. It shouldn't happen, but it's real common, at least on my copy of the mold. Maybe you haven't encountered this issue. Simple enough to go on, but come on, man. Okay, now we got to bring this arm down, and this is where things get a little, I don't want to say cumbersome, because that's not correct. And where did I take this from? Over here. But this whole thing has to come down. Now, how can I explain this? Okay, so on this, so hard to explain, this purple armature here, on this purple armature here, on the back there's a little rectangular peg that goes into a slot that's up in here. If you do not have it pegged all the way in, folding these white arm pieces out to cover all this is going to be impossible. So you need to not just push it in, but you need to push it in until like you can feel it really click. And it's not the easiest, not for nothing, but it's not the easiest thing to do. There, I did it, but man, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do if I'm being perfectly honest. Now, when we bring these white pieces down and around, we have a little rectangular brown peg here that goes into a slot right here on the body. If you have done all of this correct, and this is actually tabbed in the way it's supposed to be, And even if you wanted to kind of come up here and solidify the back end, you should now be able to line both of this up to come down and under. This is the part that I was worried about trying to show on camera, because I don't know if I can exactly do it. Oh no, I can. Yay! I wasn't sure that was going to work. Then we can bring this piece down over on the front. Perfect. Okay. This is actually going better than I thought it was going to go. Now that we've got these pieces down, we had this piece all in and whatnot, now we can deal with, let's say this arm up here. We turn this arm so that this little notch here is ready to go down over that little slot between the shoulder blades, I guess we'll call it. We unpeg the shoulder from the back of the head here, and we bring it down, and we should be able to slot that piece on. Now we should be able to bring the whole tiger head up over and bring this down. If you didn't do it already, by rights, there's a little slot in the purple here that should go over a brown nub there, but I'm not going to lie to you. I do it, but I don't find it's necessary. I don't find it helps solidify anything. I don't find it helps secure anything. It's just something you're supposed to do. Then, lastly, well, not quite lastly, but lastly for the hard part, we bring these pieces that were his pelvis and hips up. There's a round peg hole there that goes over this next section here. Same on the other side. Again, if you didn't have the shoulder down here and these chest pieces all done and positioned correctly, you're not going to be able to get this all the way up to go in. So it is a bit of a specific transformation. Brilliant though. That one goes over, and we bring this one up, and it too should be able to just go over. Yeah, solidify both of those in. Then we bring what were his legs down. And you might say, hey, GotBot, that still doesn't look quite right. Well, you're correct. It's not quite right yet. We have to take this piece and bring it up over the back of the arm, fold in that heel spur, and then bring the whole foot up to reveal a brand new paw. And then we're going to do the same over here, where we bring the whole section up, fold that in, bring out the whole paw. And we're going to solidify all of that now, and this. Make sure that I've got this done as right as I can anyway. Oh, that one came unpegged over here. Oh, and that leg and this leg should be like that, and boom, in the end, put that paw down, maybe. In the end, here we have Tigerhawk in his Tigerhawk alt mode. And there's a front-on view. I do wish inside the mouth had been painted, but it's not a deal breaker. I love the look of the eyes. I love the paint around the head and on the side here with the tiger details. In terms of, by the way, I'm aware I haven't scored the transformation yet. But in terms of articulation in this mode, again, the wings can go like all the way up and out. This can, you know, fold down if you don't want it out and have a triple barrel blaster. You know, the wings can come down, come forward here as well, as you would probably expect them to do. Again, that's kind of up to you what you want to do with that stuff. The little legs here are on ball joints, and they can go all the way out to the side and back, and a couple of knees and the feet, like very, very well articulated hind end. The head here is quite limited other than opening and closing the jaw. It can't really do anything other than that. The front paws here, I mean, yes, they can go out to the side because it's technically his legs. And I suppose you could fold them back, but I don't think they're really intended to. I think this is more meant to be like, he's landed, he's flying, he's landed, he's flying. So it's not a lot of articulation in this mode, but such is the case a lot of times with the beast modes, and it's not a deal breaker. To get here, you have to, you know, make sure that one arm is absolutely secured in. You have to explode the whole torso. You have to turn the torso. The head goes tucked away. You have to kind of bring the back legs that are up over his shoulders all the way down and through to become the, back legs of this mode, right? You have to make his actual robot legs move up to the front. Like, there's a lot of movement here. The engineering is really, really brilliant and bonkers and wild. But once you get the scheme down, it's pretty elegant. The whole thing hinges on making sure you have the purple peg into the purple rectangular slot. As soon as you do that, everything else comes together here like absolute butter. Transformation 10. This guy was already getting like a 9.5. He's like a 9.75, maybe a 9.8. This is a tremendous offering. Little too light for true blue leader class. But luckily, everything else that this guy does, from articulation to paint to molded in detail to transformation, he does pretty much right. About the only gripes that I could levy here is that in robot mode, the armpits come untabbed a little looser than I wish. That might be different for your copy. And it'd be nice if he had a wrist swivel, maybe opening fingers. Outside of that, there's not much here to dislike. What a tremendous version of Tigerhawk. And here he is once again. I know. Where do I begin? Let's talk of the coloration. The coloration, assuming nothing turns yellow. Boy, I'll be real, I don't know, enraged, disgruntled, dismayed, disappointed. I'll be all those things and more if this guy yellows, specifically the chest, or the legs, or the bicep, or the forearm. I digress. Taking all of that out of it, in terms of look and accuracy to the show, to the animation, it's pretty close. Maybe a couple of slight changes here and there, but if you know this character from the show, this is pretty darn close. Then we get to the articulation. Shockingly effective, wildly asymmetrical, but shockingly effective. I do find that in manipulating the shoulder, sometimes it comes unpegged from the little peg in there. In fact, if I look up there now, see, it was unpegged then. That said, the actual hinge is in here, so you do get a nice full range, and I guess if you hold onto the shoulder. And not for nothing, maybe that's just something on my copy. Maybe your copy, the shoulder's peg in super secure. Very minor gripe. It has really all the articulation I could want. I was, however, concerned about the two hip pieces having to come together down here at the pelvis, because I remember that trick from the original Beast Wars Silverbolt, and it didn't work that great with him. And whenever I encounter it now, I'm like, oh, please let this be tolerance well. And this one is. It stays together very solidly. We have great articulation in robot mode. Pretty much everything that you could want. These are fairly functional. I'll note this now, by the way. DNA Design recently showed off a upgrade kit that they're doing where you're going to have new kind of claws here if you feel like you need them. I think that this is replaced with like 2 actual blaster pieces. I think that like these are also replaced or filled in or some such thing, and there's a filler piece for right here if that really bothers you. That said, I don't find that any of that really bothers me. It's a cool set, but I don't feel like this guy particularly needs it. If you want it and you wanted it as an upgrade, cool. It is explicitly that, but as a standalone, this guy's great. Then we get to the transformation. The transformation is insane. I love all the movement, how the torso turns like side on, and everything kind of goes compacted inside of it, with an arm over the back as a head and an arm down under the bottom as the belly. I mean, who would have thought that? The legs become the front paws, the parts over the shoulders become the back legs. It's a wild set of movements to accomplish this, and the engineering is bonkers. While I think the mass is certainly lacking, I think that the engineering is really kind of peak. The only thing I would note when doing the transformation, and I noted it in the review, is again making sure that this arm in particular is positioned perfect underneath. Otherwise, you're going to have a real challenge getting these chest pieces to close over it. But once you have it, it is golden. And not for nothing, you got to make sure that this shoulder piece is really pushed into the point where you hear the little click, and it will tab into place. Then putting the chest over, no problem. That's the big key with this guy. Love him, honestly. Didn't know what I would think. Still think he's bonkers. My feelings about him are still somewhat confusing. But at the end of the day, really, really impressive Transformer. And while I feel like it's a little less than for a complete leader class, when I have it in hand and I know the engineering and I see all of the visual like wildness to it, and I even see the asymmetrical molding that had to be done and whatnot, I can respect this as a leader class value. If you're on the fence, man, don't be. This guy is fantastic. And I was probably the most on the fence of anybody that I heard of that were immediately smitten with him, right? People wanted him right away. Not me, not me. I really wasn't sure until I had him in hand. He is splendid. Let me know what you think about Tigerhawk here. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Hit the subscribe button. Stick around, man. Have some fun with us here on the channel, please, and thank you very much. And please, don't forget the most important thing above it all, that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.